Welcome to this episode of Google Talks. We are here in Berlin, and I'm sitting with Katja, who is an interior designer. We just released our State of Office Management, and we wanted to discuss a few topics with Katja regarding the subjects. Katja, you want to introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here and discuss this topic with you. Since I am involved in office interior design since a few years now, I'm always curious what is happening in the field and to see the difference between the countries. So I am very happy to discuss this today with you.
We wanted to start discussing the strategic workplace design, where I have a question for you. That sounds like, how can corporate real estate strategies evolve from pure cost control to become a driver of employee experience?
When we talk about the strategies, I think that we never shouldn't forget that behind all this, we are people, right? And since we are all humans, I think that when we plan how we will involve the workplace experience in general, we shouldn't beat the old rules with the new rules, kind of, because I think it's a human nature that we will resist. And I think that if we learn something, or if we should learn something, is that if in the past didn't work, that we generalize everything, we should keep this in mind also now. So I think that's the biggest problem, or the mistake that we are doing nowadays, is that we needed in the past go to work for 5 days, and now we're saying, okay, let's go back to work for 2 or 3 or 4, whatever this number is, because then I think that employees will not be really happy with this, and it will naturally come to be unhappy, and this employee experience will not be very pleasant one. So I think the biggest challenge, or the strategy, or maybe the advice for everyone would be that we should really talk with people at the end, because we can make people happy only to kind of satisfy their needs or the wishes. And I think if we can do this, we can do this today, because with all the flexibility that we have and what we've learned from the past, for example, in Corona times, when at one point everything was possible, what was never possible, we should know that we could be better nowadays. And I think that adjusting everything more to individual need, instead of beating the old rule with the new rules and saying everyone needs to do this kind of individual preferences should be heard, let's say. And I think then the employee experience will naturally be better, because people will be just happier that they are heard, that they can really work as is the best for them.
Since you mentioned employee experience and needs, what is your process for integrating change management principles when redesigning a physical workplace?
Even though that I designed quite many offices until now, for me, I can never really start designing just start with a project. And doesn't matter if we now talk about the hybrid or individual leagues or no. For me, it's very important to really know for whom I'm designing, because no company is the same. As we said, no person is the same as the other, and the same goes for the offices or the companies, because every company has some different, let's say, values or goals or general workflow that they are using, and there is not one rule that would fit to everyone. So for me, it's super important that at the beginning I know for whom I'm designing. So to really know the company, the strategy, the wishes, the also the aim of redesigning or designing the new office, and also to know their workflows, because depending on this, how they work, it's more working as individuals or more in the groups, in teams. Do they need more focus space, or maybe they need more collaboration zones? And according to this, then I can suggest the best solution for this particular setup. My advice would be to never just start directly with the numbers, but more talk with people first. You get away some quantitative data, and then to start changing things, and see step by step what is changing, and not giving up after 1 month if you, I don't know, at one meeting room and still no one is coming.
Yeah.
Because there is usually many things coming together that needs to be adjusted to see the difference, and it's also a long process.
You also go into the workplace well-being, because that is the whole substance of all this and all the talk about the workplace. From your experience, how do you see the return of investments from your clients with this upgraded approach on workplaces?
Well, when we talk about this return of investment, I think the most important is that we understand that we cannot see the change through the night. So even when we upgraded the spaces, the people will not change immediately. So I think that people need some time to kind of embody these changes, to integrate like this new space into their daily routine. And after sometimes we can then really start measuring maybe how many people more are coming to the office as maybe before the change. The other important thing, I guess, it's also that a small change or only one change will not change completely everything, right? So I think we also need to be aware of the values of the company, of the workflow, of how the company is taking care of the employees' well-being. How is the management style that or the leading style that they have. And I think all of this together then will eventually change the behavior and bring people back to the offices.
Talking about comparing the employees' attendance at the office before and after, what non-traditional amenities or design elements are currently most effective getting employees back to the office?
Well, I've heard many strategies that the companies are using, from barista in the office to free lunches to breakfast to the events after work. I don't know, gardening classes, everyone kind of doing something different. I think that's also the right approach, right? Because as I already mentioned, no company is the same, and also the people that are in these companies are probably very different. And I think the good strategy, good approach is to really find out what will bring those people back to the office. Because, some people may be like more sport, and for those, the gym in the office will be like the best perk that they can have, right? But on the other side, maybe they cherish some natural way of living, maybe this gardening class will really help them to get people back. And even though that I recently read on LinkedIn, actually, that like offices are not hotels, I still think that the hotels has something that attract people, and this is the hospitality. And I think that exactly this hospitality or this feeling or giving people the feeling that they belong, that they are welcome, that they feel well there, it's this magic that will actually make offices again important. Because in the past, they were there only to work, to have a desk and chairs. And today, I don't think it's the right approach to come back and only work there. Of course, we still go to the offices, of course, to work. But if we feel good, we will come back more often and even without any mandatory office attendance.
What would you say is the best advice to make the commute worth it?
I think that we all want to find spaces in the office that we really need there, right, when we come there. Not only spaces, but also people. But at the same time, people will come if they will have a good space to focus, work, gather, so whatever they need on this day or in this moment. So I think the best advice is to stop now designing offices only for gathering, because in the past we only designed offices for working, and now we are only designing spaces to gathering, which is also, in my opinion, the wrong approach, because we still go to the offices to work. But while doing this, I think that we should have another spaces that are supporting other activities. I think that the common mistake that nowadays companies are doing is to say, okay, everyone will work from home and everyone is coming to office to socialize. But if we think about this, no one will socialize for 3 days, right? Because everyone is saying, oh, let's come to office Tuesday to Thursdays, and Mondays and Fridays we are staying at home. I think this is like the most important, to offer employees to have spaces that support everything what they actually can and need in their daily life, working life, but to offer everything from the individual offices to some relaxing spaces, sufficient meeting rooms. That means that then people will stop saying, I'm staying at home because I need focus, but they will come to the office because they will still find there everything what they need. Apart from this, like facilities itself that we were talking about, very important factor is still being together with other people, have this social experience, share the same values, have the support from each other. That's why actually offices are so important. Of course, the facility itself, it's like kind of the playground to manage everything and to give people space to do all this. People per se don't come because of the facilities, but because like they are looking for the meaningful relationship, for the sense of belonging. And that's why I think that we should cherish the offices.
How do you determine the primary purpose of an office space today, comparing collaboration versus focused work, and how should the design actually reflect that?
I think nowadays many people are saying that they come to office to collaborate and stay home to focus. But I think that comes also with a reason, not only because really everyone wants to focus at home, but because the facilities at work don't really support this focus work. At some point we went back from these individual offices to open space offices, and then we just forgot that we still need this kind of quiet places where we can focus. Even though of course people rather come when they need to collaborate and maybe stay alone or at home really when they need like this type to reflect, to focus, to do some individual work. I don't think this is the new normality that we should accept and make as a general rule, because I think of many situations that not everyone wants to stay at home to work. Whereas, of course, some really want to stay at home, but we still have this other side of the coin that we usually forget about this. So I think that even though if maybe offices nowadays has more collaboration zones as individual working spaces, we still should keep in mind that like the office needs both.
That was it for the episode today. Thank you for coming,
Thank you for the invitation.
and stay tuned for more episodes.